Hi guys, welcome to Crazy Burger. So in this video we're going to be playing through all inbuilt games that are on the Spectrum. Yep, that's all 48 games, so this will be a long video. So I will put chapters in so that you can obviously skip through to any game you want to actually look at. Now I'm going to actually play these games in real time rather than sort of record the footage then add voiceover later. I thought it would probably be a better idea to play the games and obviously give you my experiences as I'm actually playing them and give a few tips as I go. Now I'm not an expert in any of these games. I've obviously played some of these games before here and there, but I'm not a Spectrum expert, so obviously forgive me if I do something completely wrong. Some of the games are a little bit complicated, so it won't be a huge in-depth gameplay. It's just really going to be a quick first impressions, and I'll obviously give you some tips, and I'll give you my impressions of what the games are actually like in my opinion. Anyway guys, without further ado, let's get started with the first game, that is Alien Girl. So obviously before you start a lot of the games, you maybe want to check the controls. A lot of the games do differ in the controls. If you press up on the D-pad, or obviously whatever the corresponding control is on the keyboard, and it gives you an idea of what the controls are within the game, and you can press R and that will tell you what the keyboard controls are, and obviously you've got some special actions. Now you can actually rewind using the gamepad. I didn't realise that it'd be pressing home and to the left. Which I didn't realise. Obviously on the keyboard it's home and O. If you want to use that function it is there, but personally it's not really something. I don't really see the point of it unless it's only goes back 10 seconds. Unless you make a mistake you want to go back. But anyway, it's there if you want to. Now a lot of the games do utilise keyboard and gamepad and a little bit of a mix. Some games are just entirely keyboard, like the Hobbit for example. So obviously I will try and cover that through the game. And quite a lot of the time, if you are using a gamepad, you need to choose Kempston as the option, and I'll try and cover this as best as I can while playing the games. You can fast forward this subtle little sequence here by pressing the spacebar, but you want to choose Kempston or keyboard. Sinclair I think is the option you just completely ignore on pretty much all the games, so I won't go over that constantly. So if you want to sort of jump past this, you just press the spacebar, it will quickly go past, and then you can jump into the game. Now the idea of the game is basically to try and follow the red arrows exits to get to the Alien Queen and take out the Alien Queen. Now you can see your obviously your weapons are limited. You can see at the middle of the bottom screen there, so pay attention to that. You obviously have to keep firing on these doors to get through, and don't step in any of that green stuff that you see, because that takes away your health, which obviously I did not realise whilst I was playing this game initially. And every time you touch an alien you obviously lose a life point as well, and you will lose instantly. So this game is tough as nails, there's no doubt about it, but you will pick up love hearts throughout the game if you obviously can manage to stop taking too many hits. You will successfully manage to get through. Now try not to go back the way, because the enemies just respawn, the doors respawn as well, which is kind of annoying to be honest. So you basically just need to keep on going as best as you can. And yeah, it is absolutely rock hard solid, I think, this game. I really like the idea of it, I just wish it wasn't quite as tricky as it is. And as I say, avoid those green patches and obviously avoid the aliens as best you can. They just keep respawning from their hole or home. And the other thing that probably makes the game quite tricky as well is there's a time limit, and now you will probably run out of time as well. So it is a really, really solid, difficult game. I really like it, but it's far too difficult for me, and that's me playing it on easy level. So next game up we are playing Ant-Attack. And this one, probably control-wise, is a little bit tricky to get your head round. I'm not really sure, it'd probably be better off playing this using the actual keyboard rather than a joypad or a joystick. Boy or girl, not really sure it makes a lot of difference to be honest. Just press G or B on the keyboard and get started. Obviously press the left and right to make sure your obviously boy is trying to rescue this girl, and then get back to where you started from. This part is obviously quite simple because it's pretty easy to get you the idea of how you actually do the game. Press B to jump, And you've got grenades as well to try and take out the ants, and obviously it will get a lot harder throughout the game, and obviously whoever you're rescuing, there'll be multiple sometimes, they won't be so easily located. We press up on the D-pad to constantly go forward, see where the face of the character is, just make sure that's facing forward, and then push up on the D-pad, and left or right to change the direction of the character which is facing. You can press the I think the X button, that will obviously fire out a grenade, but make sure you don't blow yourself up, because that is pretty easy to do. Oh, like that. Have another go. There's certainly a lot of fun to be had if you have the patience to get around the sort of fiddly controls, then I think there's definitely a game to be enjoyed here. No, this is definitely well regarded within the Spectrum community. You can see why. So let's have a look at army moves. This is a sort of scrolling, sort of tanky shooting game. I don't know the best way of actually describing it. But yeah, this is okay. There's a few tips here that definitely helped. I found this game quite tricky the first time I actually played it. In the game, you've got you press the A button, that fires air missiles. If you press the B button, that fires sort of ground missiles to take out the enemies on below, and you press up to actually jump off. So I'm not really getting a good start here, but I found the best thing to do is actually just to keep spamming both buttons at the same time to actually make progress. You actually need to build up a little bit of speed to get over these jumps and press up at the same time. And trying to sort of double fire as I'm doing this, but it just feels like the enemy placement is just constantly in the wrong place at the wrong time, or in their instance probably the right time at the right place at the right time. So yeah, I would just keep on firing both at the same time, because otherwise it is unbelievably tough. Yeah, keep pressing up to jump and you will eventually make a little bit of progress, but there's no doubt this game is super difficult. Definitely easier if you hold down the two fire buttons at the same time and try and make those jumps, otherwise you'll probably die constantly. This is a tough game. I'm not really a big fan of this one. Okay, next up it's Auf Wiedersehen Monty. Starring Monty Mo. Graphically this one's quite nice. Sort of nice sort of music as well, which is nice pleasant change to some of the games that don't have any music. I know obviously we are limited to the memory. If it's the 48K games probably didn't generally always have a lot of music, but yeah, this one is interesting. So sometimes trying to make progress up these ladders is tough, so you need to try and, I think the idea is to try and create or collect as much money as you possibly can, and then escape the country or something. I can't really remember, some really daft story that's going on. So they're definitely graphically one of the sort of better games on the collections here. Oh yeah, and it's just constantly trying to kill me. Unbelievable. Control wise, this one is pretty horrible, to be honest. I think trying to navigate and get to the different platforms, I think you need to do a combination of moving and jumping, but I don't know, maybe it's just the D-pad, I guess, might not actually be the best controller for this. But there's no doubt it is a very tricky game, and I'm going to probably say that to pretty much most of these games on this collection. You're going to have some amount of patience to play through some of these games. Anyway guys, this one, I found it a little bit frustrating to play. Control wise, it's just a bit fiddly and a bit sticky. Okay, next up it's Avalon. I think the control wise they're a little bit strange. You've got A to cast a spell, and you need to basically sort of explore through the stages here and find the different spells. Avoid the monsters as usual. So I think you can, basically you're floating, and one of your spells is to be able to move, which is kind of bizarre. But you get magic spells throughout the game as well, and basically just bounce into these doors to open them, and then you can go through. But careful, there are different enemies there. At the moment, obviously I don't have any spells, so I really have to avoid anything that I see that's most likely going to kill me. Oh, that one's a locked door, so I can't get through that. Oh no, they've locked me in. No. You definitely need an awful lot of patience for a lot of these old style games. If you don't have that and you maybe don't understand then you'll probably not spend an awful lot of time with some of these games, which probably would be a little bit of a shame. There's no doubt about it, a lot of these games are not massively user-friendly. Not games you can maybe just jump into quickly for a quick game. I think you'll probably play some of these and get completely frustrated, like I am just now. Like, what the heck is going on? Really strange controls. And I can see why a lot of people probably watching this thing. Why would anybody want to go back and play these? Maybe that's just not for me to answer. Not having any nostalgia for this particular game, but I know obviously a lot of people grew up with these sort of home computers. This may be one of their Christmas presents back in early 80s, or maybe sometime through the 80s, and maybe even into the 90s, who knows. But yeah, a lot of people have nostalgia for this, and playing some of these games brings back a lot of great memories. Whether it's worth playing through these games again, I'm not entirely sure. If you don't have that nostalgia for it, then I'm not sure you'll obviously get the same feeling that other people will. Bizarre. Don't ask what's going on, because I really don't know. Anyway, that was interesting. Oh. I think graphically, definitely this one's more than a little bit of rough around the edges. I guess it kind of has shown its age a little bit. But I think if you've got the patience, there might be a decent enough game in there. I'm not really sure what I'm doing half the time, to be honest. And it's probably causing more frustration than anything else. Oh, no. Oh, damn. I stood still too long. Anyway, guys, let's move on. I'm not really a big fan of this one. Next up is Bobby Bearing, and this is, I guess, the best way of describing it is it's a Marble Madness style game. And I think you're out to rescue your friends throughout the different mazes here. And let's change it, make sure we got the correct controls. Use 6 and 7 to change. Just hold it down. Oh, goes a little bit too sensitive, and there we go. Sorry, you press home to actually select whichever choice you made there. So I pressed home and we are away. Now you're obviously Barnaby, and we're trying to find our different friends in the maze here without getting squashed, lost, falling off. I definitely like this one. This one is definitely a little bit different to some of the other games that are on the collection so far, and yeah, I think this one's pretty cool. If you like Marble Madness or Spin Dizzy, that type of game, then probably enjoy it. It seems to control quite nicely on the D-pad. Obviously you need to be careful, there is a time limit as well. That is constantly going down. Oh. Oh no, I think I'm lost. I think there is a reset button that you can press if you obviously want to come out there. I can't remember what button is it. Yeah, you press the B button, it'll reset. Obviously you will lose some time. But yeah, if you do get a little bit stuck, sometimes it's probably worth pressing the B button and maybe retracing your steps a little bit. Some parts are definitely a little bit tricky to negotiate and stuff. Anyway, I quite like this game. I get a little bit lost sometimes. One of these games you may want to try and make a map of some sorts, so you know where you're actually going. But I think this game's pretty cool. I like it. It's really cool. Right, next game up is Cosmic Payback. This is a relatively new game, and I actually quite like this one. It's kind of a puzzle style game. You need to go through the levels collecting the gold, so to speak. I think that's how they're classing it. You want to fast forward through this, you can just press the space bar. Again, choose the Kempston control method, and then press 0 to start the game. There's 15 levels here, and this one was definitely one of my favourites when I was playing the games in preview videos. Now these are classed as gold, those platformers. It's definitely got a nice soundtrack to it, no doubt about it. Control wise, excellent stuff. You can see at the top middle how many gold pieces we have to find, and ships is obviously what this ball is, which is classed as a ship, and you'll have 6 to start. The first level is pretty straightforward, it's not too difficult, but it does get really, really tough. Now you don't need to do this, I guess. These are not gold pieces that you need to collect. These platforms just disappear, so it's obviously a bit irrelevant to do that, and that is the exit to the level 1, and you can then move on to level 2, where things get a lot trickier. This one basically transports you to the other part of the level. You can move in as well to the screen, which is a little bit strange. You can ignore the other pieces, these are just disappearing platforms. It's really the flashy ones that are the gold pieces that you need to collect. Sometimes a little bit confusing to hopefully what the platforms are, but you'll soon recognise which one of these are. Now this one's got a moving platform, so you probably have to keep on moving before you actually fall into the abyss. And this one looks like spikes, but I actually was scared to touch this the first time I played it. It basically helps you bounce a little bit higher, which is a bit weird. And this part is very tricky. Oh no. I'm definitely going to mess this up, I think. Yep. Anyway guys, I really like this one. I think it's very, very cool. And I've made it through quite a few levels past this, but I think this one is excellent stuff. Really good. So we've got another new game called Devwill 2. This is a platforming game. This is actually quite new as well. And this one's really good. I did actually play this on the Evercade. It was, I think it was the Genesis version. This one's a little bit different. I think the sort of levels are a little bit more repetitive than that version. But it's pretty straightforward. It's A to jump. Now I think there is supposed to be a slide jump button, but I never actually got the slide button to work while I was playing this game. I think you can slide into the enemies to take them out. You can also bounce on their heads, which is fine, but I'm not sure if you get the slide option later on. You maybe get some added abilities or something, but at the start of the game it definitely wasn't working for me. But it's nice and colourful. It's a nice sort of game. I just felt that some of the sort of stages and levels were quite repetitive. It looked like a copy-paste job to me in some of the sort of stages. You'll probably see that when I'm playing through the game. It just felt like you're going through the same stages over and over again, and there was obviously a little bit of lack of variety, and honestly I thought I was actually going round in circles. Anyway, this is a nice platforming game, there's no doubt about it. It's nice. As I said, it just got a little bit boring, a little bit repetitive. You're basically just doing the same over and over. Now I'm not really sure if you do get abilities, because if you look there is a platform I can't actually reach. I'm not sure if you get maybe more jump ability, or you can smash these platforms by using your slide ability, and maybe that's something you acquire through the game. That's what I'm guessing anyway, I'm not entirely sure. In the Genesis version you had the slide ability right away. As I said, this stage here and this one here, it's basically repetitive, so you think, oh, I've just went round in circles. But no, it's definitely a different part of the game. So another new game in El Stompo, and the idea is to fix the TVs. I think that's the idea. So you basically just jump on the TV to get a picture. The yellow ones you jump on, they will disappear, and you can also go down to the next stage. But be careful, do not touch any of these enemies or you will lose a life and pretty much have to start all over again. But this is quite cool. I like my sort of puzzle style games, and this one was a nice sort of challenge. I quite enjoyed it. Graphically it is quite nice as well. Obviously sound wise, probably would be nice if it had some sort of more sounds. It does seem a little bit basic, but again it probably will be down to memory constraints for sure. I can definitely see myself playing this one quite a lot. Now you can see those great monsters waiting for you, and if you go down the ladder next to it, you can see they instantly start moving. So you really need to be quick. So obviously when I go down the ladder this time, I need to make sure I go straight to the TV, then run back, get up the ladder quickly, and I missed the ladder. Anyway, this is a nice game, I really like it, but I think sometimes the controls are a bit sticky. Say I couldn't quite go up the ladder in time there, because I mistimed it. But anyway, nice game, definitely one worth trying. Okay guys, so let's have a look at Exolon. This is a 128K game, so you can probably tell when you look at the sound and the graphics. A little bit more colours used, and you can hear obviously the soundtrack in the background as well. That's usually an indication when you know you're probably playing a 128k game rather than a 48k game. Now you have to hold down the A button or the fire button. If you just press it once, it will just fire out the ammo as normal. If you've got grenades, if you hold down the button, it will destroy some of the larger sort of objects that are in your way. Graphically, I think this was definitely one of the better games on here. It does look very nice, very colourful. Also, you can turn on use the sort of extended colour palette and it'll give it a slightly different look. Which is quite nice. I'm not really sure it makes it look better, it just makes it look different. I think that's really what I gathered from the extended colour, to be honest. It doesn't really, sometimes it doesn't really improve it, it just makes it look a wee bit different. In some instances, some of the games definitely look a little bit better with the new sort of colour palettes. And I think that's something I'll probably explore in other videos, is looking at the colour palettes and what we can do, especially with added games as well, because it's not straightforward what to do with added games. Ideally, what you need to do is actually create your own sort of palette, and then you load that in before you start your game, and then play your chosen loaded game. Sometimes there's some nice options out there. I think a lot of the times though, the games you'll probably have to create the colour palette yourself. Now you're going to have a lot of patience for this game. It just seems quite random at times. Very, very tough. But definitely one worth putting the effort into. I think it's very cool. And interestingly, I think this one also appeared on Evercade as well, but it was a C64 version, but I might actually sneakily prefer the Spectrum version. Okay, moving on to Fairlight. Now this one you're definitely going to need to use a combination of the game, if you're using a gamepad that is, you'll need to use the keyboard as well. It has a few buttons that you can use for dropping items, using items as well. So yeah, you're going to have to use a combination of both, because not all the buttons are mapped onto the gamepad if you are using both. So keep that in mind if you're playing this game. This is Fairlight. It's an isometric action adventure game. Quite a lot of isometric adventure games on Spectrum. Obviously being a Commodore 64 guy, I don't remember actually playing that many isometric style games on Commodore 64. It just really wasn't a massive thing at all. Maybe I'm just being forgetful. It's just not really games I played that much of at all. You see there's items to pick up. I think you press is it the X button? Yeah, X to pick up the items. Ooh, don't know why he runs at this bit and not the other bit. Now you press the A button, I think, is to attack. You got some kind of crazy attack, and B button to actually jump. Yeah, so there you go. I don't know if you can pick that up, whatever it is. I have no idea. Oh, that's locked. So some areas, if you look off, you can actually walk off the screen. Sometimes if there's an area beyond that, you can actually walk off the screen. So you need to be wary of that. Sometimes it's not actually clear. There is another sort of section of land that you can actually walk to. But definitely love that the music is really cool. Maybe gets on your nerves after a good few minutes of gameplay. Yeah, need to watch your life bar as well. And use the shoulder buttons on the D-pad. You can select you've got one or two items on here, and then I think you press the Y button to use whichever, whatever you've got. That's locked, so I need to move on from that. Oh, that's locked as well. Nice. This game is definitely very fascinating to me. Maybe something that's better just avoiding the enemies, because they just appear again after you come back into the room, which is bloody annoying. But yeah, this one definitely fascinates me. Interestingly, there was actually a Fairlight 2, which I may play in a later video and see what it's actually like. But this is pretty cool, no doubt about it. Very cool. Okay, moving on to Firelord. This is an action-adventure game starring Sir Galahad, and you're basically traversing through the land and trying to find different objects and trade with the knights, buy information, steal stuff. Yeah, this one is a little bit of a wonderfest, if that's the best way of describing it. Let's just press the button to start the game. Nicely, this one does recognise the controls without having to actually choose anything special. Sometimes it doesn't, you have to make sure you press the right combination of keys. Now, trying to avoid this fire, you need to make sure you sort of go through the middle like that. Now, this is a portal, I think it's called. I'm not really sure, maybe that's not the right term. But make sure you keep your health up. You can see the health at the top, the red and green sort of bar, that's your health. Make sure that's topped up. You can actually find some items that you can use to, I think it's like a spell where you can fire upon these enemies. Oh yeah, I've just lost a life, which isn't ideal. But this one, I would just keep moving. This one is just keep on moving, and maybe try your best to keep an eye on where you're actually going, because there's no doubt about it, it is very, very confusing. There's so many screens. I just end up getting lost, to be honest. One of those games you probably want to refer to some maps online to help you make some progress through the game, because it is very, very confusing. But one of the things I always liked about the game is very, very fascinating. Now, this is people's houses where you can actually go in and try and barter or try and steal some goods, but this person doesn't really have much, so there's no point in messing about in there. But yeah, fascinating game. Definitely one to get your teeth stuck into as well. But you'll definitely need to get a pen and paper and try and make some maps, or refer to one online, because you're going to get lost. I know I am. I'm definitely going round in circles. Okay, moving on to Football Manager 2. Obviously this is a soccer simulation, and this definitely will not be for everyone. These type of games, if you're obviously not really interested to football, won't help. Now, you don't really need to be that interested in football, because it's not a football game as such. You're really just managing a team and watching the game played. So it does get a little bit boring. Just make your choices, choose your team colour. I mean, Everton playing in black, really? No, that's better. So basically, it just fires you straight into the first game, and then you can choose your team. So obviously, this here is where you would put your attackers. Now, just be careful. You can choose at the top here. Obviously, we would want. Now, I'm guessing it's probably Mark Hughes, going back in the day. So you press the A button to choose that, then go down to one of the positions and just press the A button again to select, and then do the same again. Now, no doubt it does get a little bit fiddly at this particular point. You maybe want to press the A button at the top and press the right button on the stick to move on to the midfield now. So let's try and find a midfielder. So just press the A button to select and scroll through up and down, looking at who the best midfielders are. Definitely this guy. Now, like, as I said, the controls are just a little bit on the fiddly side. Well, we definitely want him. Now, I think we'll probably just go for the old-fashioned 4-4-2 formation to get you started. Now, I'm not really sure if it matters which player you pick. Now, ideally, you want to be picking the best players, the one that's got the most skill level, the one that are maybe the fittest guys. Make sure you probably ideally pick the correct midfielders, or the correct positions, sorry, when you're actually creating your team. Now, I'm old enough to recognise a lot of these players. I'm surprised they actually got away with using some of these names, to be honest. Now, I did actually play a lot of football management games back in the day, and I really enjoyed it, but you definitely need to have the patience to go through that, and maybe even the interest of playing football or liking it at all, because otherwise you're going to get absolutely bored, and yeah, you'll probably not see what the fuss is at all in this game. Let's put Southall in goals. I can't believe I've not put Barnes in. Oh dear. Eventually, once you've got your team sorted, it'll take you straight to the game. Terry Butcher, probably. There's no doubt about it, that is fiddly as anything to actually get started. So let's choose random substitute. Let's put Barnes on the bench. And him. And there you go. Once you've made your 2 substitutes, got all your team going, it will actually kickstart the game itself, which is just unbelievably boring. Now, ideally, I would like to be able to skip this or fast forward it, but I don't think there is an option to actually fast forward. I was just really referring to the manual as I was playing through this, but yeah, sadly, I don't think there is an option to fast forward to the end of the game. It's probably one of those features that was probably added into sort of later versions of these type of games. But in this instance, you really just have to sit and watch the game. You can't even take part in it, you just have to sit and watch. Now, personally, I love these type of games. I think for me, I just wished that we could fasten things up just a little bit. But this game does seem to have all the right elements of a football management game. There's no doubt about it. There's some good stuff here. Okay, moving on to Freddy Hardest. And this just sounds like a really bad porn movie, but it's actually a Spectrum game, so let's have a blast. Okay, so you want to jump, press up. And the longer you press up, the higher you will jump. You want to kick, you can just press the A button. If you want to fire your weapon, press down and press the fire button as well. This game is very, very tricky and very, very yellow. If you get hit by any of these sort of monsters or aliens, you'll get sent back to the start of the section. There is sort of mid-level checkpoints, I think, if I recall. Definitely just want to take your time and sort of go through these slowly. Oh yeah, don't do that, or you'll get sent all the way back to the beginning, which is really, really frustrating. Why, oh why do they have to make it like that? If you're lucky enough, you will eventually get onto the next sort of stages. I think there's some different variety sort of levels as well. It does get a tad repetitive. Oh. You can obviously see the things that are flying up above, you can use a sort of kick to take them out. Sometimes it's maybe just better off sort of ducking to avoid them rather than trying to take them out. But oh yeah, sometimes there's no avoiding getting hit at all, which can be really frustrating. And there are some tricky jumping sections here. And just like that, it is really frustrating. Nice game, but I just wish it didn't have those frustrating sort of sides to it like that. It does seem like the enemies are a little bit random and just a bit annoying. Okay, on to The Great Escape. Now this is another isometric action adventure, and the idea is to follow the camp routine and collect Red Cross parcels, look for items to aid your escape, and hide them in the tunnel under your stove. Don't get caught. Oh. If you get caught, you get put to the solitary confinement or something, I think it is. So let's choose the correct control methods and get started. So initially you just really want to try and follow some routine, and then eventually you probably want to try and explore a little bit, maybe try and steal some items, I guess. Oh, there's a Red Cross parcel, where is it? Did I just pass something? I don't know. I'm confused. I'm not entirely sure where I'm going, to be honest. I've got some guards following me. I think you're supposed to go to a lineup sometimes, aren't they? Oh, roll call, I need to go somewhere. Well aware this one was definitely regarded as a Spectrum classic, but it's one of those games I'm not entirely sure what I'm supposed to be doing and where I'm supposed to be going. So I obviously need to explore a little bit and trying to get the parcels, the items that I need to try and escape. Hide them in the tunnel under your stove, it says in the manual. Yeah, ultimately feels a little bit on the boring side to me. I guess I need to have a little bit of patience, give it a little bit of time to understand it, but I just could not get my head around the point of it at all. It just seemed extremely boring. But again, if you like this game, apologies. I'd clearly need to spend a lot more time with it to understand what I actually need to do. So breakfast time is. Okay, moving on to a absolute classic, no doubt about it. This is head over heels and widely regarded as maybe one of the best games on Spectrum. It's another isometric action adventure game, and you play either head or heels. You can switch between the characters, and you can carry things. It's basically like a puzzle style game. You're trying to sort of collect crowns and you're trying to get to. Obviously, you can use both characters at the same time as well. You can obviously climb on each other's heads to sort of get to higher platforms and become one character. It's very cool, no doubt about it. Now, obviously, choose your control method, then press the enter button on the keyboard to actually get started. Okay, so we're obviously starting the game with, I think it's head, and then you can, if you press the B button, you can switch to the other character, which I think is heels. Hopefully, I've got that right. And you probably need to switch between the both of them. Now I think this character can move a little bit quicker and the other character can jump a little bit farther. So you probably need to use a combination of both of them to make it through the levels here. Now some of the things you can see in the corner there you can't actually touch because they will kill you. Now, sometimes it's a little bit confusing to what things you can touch and what things you can't. And I don't think it's massively clear until you actually just touch them and experiment for yourself, and then obviously you die. So yeah, there's a little bit of frustration. There's definitely a frustration element involved with that. Yay! I think that, oh, there's the bag. Now I think if I get the bag, that it allows me to carry items. Then use this as a control stick, almost a joystick to move the character. Oh, I'm not needing that. I need to use that to jump on to reach that platform. So as I said, it's definitely a very heavily puzzly orientated game, and you can see why this was popular. Graphically, it's very nice. You will most likely lose a ton of lives while playing this game. Oh, let me see. I think there's something else I'm missing here. Yeah, I think I see it. There's a platform underneath. That maybe we need that as well. Will that reach under to actually move it down? Yeah, so yeah, that's what I was doing wrong. It's obviously too far to actually jump. You need to create yourself a little bit like that, probably. Something like that. Oh, we give that a try. Oh, if I moved it too far now, probably. Oh, darn. This has got disaster all over it. Oh. Oh, there's a swear word coming. I tell you, there is definitely a swear word coming. Oh no. There we go, we done it. Now you can probably just die at this point. Oh, like that. Yeah, I say that. So I've got the handbag now. That means I can now lift items, I think. I'm sure it was. I'm sure I could lift items. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought that's what it was. But anyway, let's switch back to the other character, and you can see there is a extra life up the top there, and it's tricky as heck to actually reach to. You need to do some kind of crazy combination of jumping like that to get it, and you get yourself an extra life right at the start. Anyway guys, I think we'll move on. There's no doubt this is a classic game and one of those games that you will probably spend hours on. Right, moving on to Highway Encounter, and this is a isometric puzzle action game. You need to clear a path for your trailing Vortons by trapping aliens with objects. Yeah, so the idea is basically you're trying to guide your Vortons through the stages, and without obviously hitting any of the enemies and trying to clear them, kill them, or just trap them some way. So obviously choose your control method, then press 7 to start the game. You've got 5 Vortrons to start, and you're trying to push this, don't know what it is, but you're basically trying to guide that on. And you've got a fire button as well. You can try and take out the enemies. Some of the enemies you can't actually do anything about. You maybe want to use these as protection while they go round. Yes. Use the firepower. This will shoot the barrels further on. Oh, hopefully this enemy will get out of the way. Right, this is probably where it gets a little bit more trickier. I'm going to have to move a different direction. I'm kind of just hoping for the best here, and yeah, we're getting somewhere. Oh damn! Right, it's probably want to try and guide that around here. Anyway, guys, let's move on. Not a bad game. You probably need to take each stage quite slowly, I would suggest, to try and get through this. But yeah, very much a very cool strategic puzzle style game, which is very nice, definitely. Okay, let's move on to the Hobbit. Now this one I'm going to have to dump the D-pad, dump the gamepad even to play, because you're going to need entirely the keyboard to actually play through, and use all the different sort of directions. Look, go north, or you can just type in, if you obviously go direction wise, you can just type in the first letter, like north, south, east, but just type S-E if you want to go in those directions. So there are a lot of shortcuts. I would probably recommend trying having a look online, some guides. There are obviously some information within the manual if you go online to try and help you get started. But this game is very in depth, and it's not really something I've played an awful lot on the C64. So text adventures, obviously it was a thing, but definitely nothing as sort of in depth as this. I don't really remember playing anything like this, but yeah, this is cool. So there's a wooden chest here, there's Gandalf, there's Thorin. Gandalf gives the curious map to you. So you have to definitely get your head round the different controls, different text that you can actually use. So let's go through the green door. We need to go east, so just press E, we can go east. Cannot go east? To the east there is a round green door. Open door. Open door. Yeah, let's go east then. Or you can just type in follow Gandalf, and you will obviously go through the door with him. And you can also eat items, you can talk or say. These are some of the commands you can actually use. You can maybe put the bottle on the chair type of thing. Put the rope on. So you really need to understand the different commands that you can use. It might take some time to get used to. And let's press the look button so we can see what we've got available. So to the west is back where we came from. Visible X's are east, north, and northeast. Let's try northeast. We're in a hidden path with trolls' footprints. You definitely need to be careful from the trolls, because they will most likely kill you instantly. I'm not sure if I missed anything in that chest, whether there's an actual sword that you can pick up. Let's see what we go. There are visible exits to the south. There's a heavy rock door. Can we go north yet? Cannot go north. Open door. Probably locked. The door is locked, of course it is, so let's go south then. We're now in the troll's clearing. Probably not a good thing, because the troll is here. And at this particular point you can't kill the troll. You could maybe ask Thorin to kill the troll, I'm not entirely sure. Let's not hang about to find out. Let's run. Oh, we're in Rivendell. There's Elrond. This is one of those games I would probably recommend trying to find a guide and how to play it, because there's a huge game to be played here, and I can see why people would have got completely sort of sucked into playing this. It would be nice if there was maybe some more sounds to give some sort of, I don't know, some sort of ambience or some sort to get you involved. But I guess it's all in the text. You have to use your imagination. Maybe just play some spooky music or some Lord of the Rings music in the background to get you in the mood. But anyway, guys, let's move on. There's no doubt there's a very cool game in here, and this one of those games I'm definitely going to spend a lot more time with. Okay, moving on to something probably a little bit more simpler. Not sure if that's a good thing right enough. It's Horace Goes Skiing. A very basic and simple game. There's actually quite a few different Horace games. Can't really remember if I played many of them at all. But the idea at the start here is to try and cross over the road without obviously getting knocked over. Get your skis and somehow get back across the road again without getting knocked over. Oh dear. And then go skiing. Honestly, if there's any more ridiculous game out there, I've still to find it. This is just madness. Why would you start a game like this? It just makes no sense. I don't get it. Oh dear. Now, if you do eventually get to the skiing part, it's kind of mild fun, but I'm not sure it's worth the hassle of actually going through this nonsense. Most ridiculous concept ever? Probably. The skiing part is actually okay. Try and go through the flags. If you don't go through them, you'll probably lose some points here, or lose some time or cash or something. I don't know. But the skiing part is actually good fun. I just don't get the silly start that you have to go through to actually get to this point. So if you do eventually get to this point, I'd probably recommend creating yourself a save state so that you can just jump straight back to that, so you don't need to go through the crazy crossing the road nonsense. It's a bit like Frogger, I guess, but only worse. Oh dear. Guess we can't miss too many of them. Anyway, guys, there's finished the first ski. Not sure what happens after this. Maybe just go through the whole thing all over again. It gets a little bit harder. I guess so. And I don't have any cash to carry on, do I? Damn. Okay, now we're going to be playing Jack the Nipper. It's a kind of a platformer game, and the idea is you need to try and create as much havoc as you possibly can. Choose your control method, press 0 to start the game. And at the start, don't forget you need to collect the pea shooter, which is on the shelf, which is a little bit annoying. You need to traverse through this little section. And at first I obviously thought the controls were a little bit broken. I have no idea what's actually going on, why there's actually aliens in my room, not got a clue. So we press up to jump and try and make your way over the bed. And honestly, the controls are tricky. This is one of the games that actually reaching those diagonals on the D-pad that I've got here, almost impossible. But anyway, so there is a pea shooter there, so that if you want to actually pick it up, you need to press, I think, item 1 on the keyboard, and that will then put it into the item 1 on your keyboard. And then you can then shoot and create havoc with your pea shooter and take out the enemies that you see here. Now, I think the idea is to try and obviously avoid getting a rash. But you want to oh dear, the controls sometimes I felt are a little bit unresponsive. So you're obviously trying to fill up the naughty meter. That's the idea of what you're trying to do in the game. And collect the different items here. But control wise, it is very, very tricky. It's not the most responsive game at all. Now I'm not sure if it's actually up to jump or A to jump. I felt sometimes the controls are, as I said, unresponsive. I'm pressing the button there to jump and nothing was actually happening. So, yeah. I have to say, not a huge fan of this. I'm sure there's other things I need to do here before I can move on. Yeah, so I think the controls are mixed up. You want to do the sort of pea shooter. So hold down the A button and press left or right. Yeah, if you just want to jump, I guess you're just going to press the button once, maybe. And up. Yeah, so it's a combination of A and up that, to actually jump, I guess. Yeah, control wise, yeah, a little bit horrible. Okay, next up we've got Not in 3D. It's a 3D action game where you control a constantly moving trail tasked with filling an empty space, avoiding the chasers. Now, I've read up on this game, I've watched this game, and I still have no idea what the hell is going on. What speed is required? I don't know, I have no clue. Let's do slow. Now, if anyone out there knows how to play this game and what I'm supposed to do, please let me know. I've tried and I really, really have no clue what on earth is actually going on. It feels like I'm moving through different blocks or something, or some kind of maze, chasers or something, I think. I don't know. I really, really don't understand the game at all. I honestly feel as if I'm tripping rather than actually playing a game. I have no clue. I guess we're moving through some sort of maze. It's like obviously a 3D maze of some sort. So kind of makes a bit of sense, but I'm not entirely sure what I'm supposed to do. So please, guys out there, if you're an expert in this game and you know how to play it, let me know so that I can try and understand it a little bit better. Otherwise, I don't know, you're just pressing left and right and going through these, past these blocks through the maze. Definitely one that will make you a little bit sicky, I guess. If you got sick playing Doom, then this might make you feel a lot worse. Oh my. I think we should move on. Okay, next we're going to be trying to play Lords of Midnight, and it's kind of loosely based on Lord of the Rings, I'm guessing, by looking at it. Now this one, you basically need the keyboard entirely. Ideally, it would be nice to get an overlay for the keyboard because there's a lot of functions to be used in this game. Now, interestingly, there was a link on the Retro Games sort of website in the game detail here, but it wasn't actually working. It would be nice to get some sort of overlay to play this game and not having to refer to the manual all the time and how to actually play. Still to get my head around what I'm supposed to be doing, to be honest, in this game. But there's no doubt there is a huge game here and it's very in-depth. And I remember hearing about this way back. Obviously this would have been probably back in the 80s. I remember hearing about it, but never got to actually play it. So it's nice to actually get a chance to play it now. But how to play it, I have no idea. I'm going to be honest here, I'm not entirely sure. But definitely one of those ones you're going to have to refer to the manual and how to play it. So I think Q and E. Q is to move in current direction, then you've got all the number buttons move in different sort of locations. You get different guys to go. You got Luxor, Morkin, Corleth, and Rotheron. Choosing the V, B, N, and C button, I think it is. But yeah, so there's a lot of different combinations. As I said, it would be great to get a keyboard overlay to play this game properly, to understand it, because otherwise you're not going to remember all of these buttons off by heart. I'm not entirely sure what I can do here or what. There's a think button as well. Let's see, what does the think do? He thinks again. He thinks again. I'm not entirely sure what that means, so let's see. Choose. Night has fallen and the fall are abroad. One day has passed. I'm not sure how long night actually lasts. Can we get daytime as well? Yes. And why would Y not be yes? That just seems bonkers that they've not used Y and N for yes and no. So yes is actually G, which is kind of weird. So this is where we're at. Do we kind of actually attack these people? I'm not entirely sure. Are they going to attack me if I try and move on? Move in the current direction. Let's see if we can go past them. Yeah. Fight the ice trolls. Let's fight the ice trolls. Yeah, we slew them. This game is very in-depth, but I said I really think to be able to play this game properly, you need to get that overlay. But the manual is online if you want to get the list of the actual controls and maybe just pin it next to the keyboard in the meantime till we get that overlay. If anyone has an overlay or knows where to actually buy these, let me know so I can maybe look into it and get it for this Spectrum, because that would be very handy to be able to understand and play this game properly, because I think there's a great game in here and I would love to get my teeth stuck into it. But anyway guys, obviously this will slow up the video a bit. Let's move on to the next game. So moving on to Manic Miner, maybe perhaps one of the better known Spectrum games out there. Whether it's the best Spectrum game or not is entirely, obviously, everyone's opinion. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's definitely aged quite a lot in the years, and the sound does tend to get a little bit annoying. Now, a little tip here, the sound will start to annoy you. If you press the menu button on the keypad, or I think there's probably the menu button on the keyboard, it will obviously mute the sound, which is quite helpful. It's very straightforward to play, left and right, and A to jump. Just avoid all the different things you see here, or you will be sent back to the start of the level. And you're trying to collect all the keys to open up the exit and then move on to the next sort of stage. Simple, yep, but tricky, absolutely. No doubt an absolute classic, but looking at it, it certainly has aged quite a lot. And I think anyone maybe playing this for the first time might not even see what the fuss is all about, but this one I'm sure was hugely popular back in the day, and a lot of people probably sunk a lot of time into this game and probably lost a lot of hours on it too. For sure, you need a lot of patience to play this because it almost feels like everything you touch can kill you, which seems utterly bizarre. It looks like a little weed basically killed me and sent me back to the start of the level, which makes no sense whatsoever, but it is what it is. Ideally, you probably want to get that first time rather than going back and doing it this time. Let's see. Can I time it right? Yep. Oh no. Probably not the way to play it, but anyway, it looks like we've managed to complete this level. And we can move on to the second level. No, I actually like it. Once you actually get used to controls, and get used to, obviously you can see that we run out of air as well, but once you get used to controls and understand the game, it's very good. There's no doubt it is a very cool game. It's dated badly though by the graphics. You can turn on the extended colours thing. It basically just changes the graphic colours a little bit rather than anything else, but right now I've screwed this up. I probably need to start again. Right, moving on to match day 2. This is actually a football game, not a football management game this time. So let's get stuck into that. I remember this game from back in the day, and it was probably widely regarded as one of the best games, football games on the home computer systems. Whether it was or not or whether it's aged well, probably not. But anyway, let's press any key to move the cursor. Oh, I've just done the wrong option there. Let's start again. Press any key to move cursor. I pressed the enter button, obviously, didn't I? And choose your option. Player 1 match day. We'll just go quick into a game. And it's got that cool sort of sound effects. Now, graphically, there's no doubt this game has aged terribly. Let's get started. So you can see at the top of the screen is your sort of power meter. You can see it's going up and down. So obviously you need to time it right. When you're going to hit a shot, if it's up the highest, you will hit the sort of highest or the hardest shot or the longest shot. I'm not really entirely sure, but keep an eye on that meter because that does affect how hard you're going to be hitting the ball. But I definitely think this game is a little bit hard on the eyes, and it's one of those games that probably would benefit from using the extended colours option. Hopefully that will change maybe the yellow and white teams here to something maybe a little bit darker and easier on the eyes to actually see. But as a football game, it's actually not bad. A little bit slow moving perhaps, but I can see why people would have loved this back in the day, because if you remember back in the day, things were a little bit different. I think you have to appreciate that and why people loved this game. I think on the C64 it was Emily Hughes Soccer. It was probably the best sort of soccer game. Otherwise there was Microprose Soccer, which was a top-down game, which was fantastic. There was a few other good games here and there. I do remember Kickoff 2 and Italy 1990 was definitely a favourite. But yeah, there was tons of them. Probably tons of bad ones. But anyway, pretty decent, but definitely showing its age. Okay, moving on to Movie. This is a 3D action adventure game, and you're basically the private detective Bugs Malloy. You got throw or pick up items, use the action bar to talk. There's a lot of different controls in this sort of game, so maybe be worth checking the controls here. Now, when I was playing this game initially, I thought there was some control issues with it, but you need to make sure you choose the correct sort of combination when you actually start. I definitely got a little bit confused because the controls were all a little bit wonky. I thought it was something to do with the firmware update 1.01, which maybe caused this. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but I definitely felt there was some problems. If you don't choose the correct option in game or on here, you will probably struggle to control the character. But anyway, let's get started and I'll try and explain that as we're starting off the game. So as I said, there's different control options. If you press, I think it was X on the control pad, you can change the control type. Let's press the C button, change to Kempston, and then you can press the enter button to select. Now you've got different options here to rotate, or you want the direction. So I personally found probably direction was better. I don't know, maybe it's obviously up to you whether you prefer it. Now you're going to have to make sure that you choose these options before you start. Otherwise, the controls are a little bit messed up if you're trying to use the keyboard or the gamepad. It's just a bit weird. I'm actually blown away with the huge amount of isometric style games that were on the Spectrum. Graphically, very nice. It would obviously be nice to get some more colours, but graphically, no doubt about it, very, very cool. I think I probably chose the wrong option again with the controls. Yeah. Oh yeah, so down on the D-pad pushes down onto the screen, right is pushing that. So I guess it really is up to you which control method you prefer. It takes a little bit of getting used to. So pressing up, it's going up to the screen here, pressing left. Just a little bit tricky to get your head around the asymmetric style, but yeah, now I've got used to it. Here we go. So if you press the A button, you get to choose between the options at the bottom of the screen here. You can choose a gun, you can speech, you can punch, I guess. If you want to punch someone, you can just choose that option. You can punch a character that you see fight, and there's different options. I can't actually remember what those different settings are, so let's have a look at them. We've got 1, cycle inventory item, 2, drop item, which is over here. Obviously that's one's pickup item. Then you've got the use gun, walk mode, speech mode, punch hit, as we just said. We've got the throw item, so this one is the throw item button. Number 9, the H is abort game, so if you don't want to do that, why would that not be A? I have no idea. Oh no, sorry, so A is abort game, and the H button is actually halt or pause. Why would you not have that as P? So anyway, so don't press the A button, that basically aborts the game. So let's get started. I'm not sure if there's any items to actually pick up here, I can't actually see, but and what the actual purpose of the game is. They're maybe trying to solve some sort of a murder or something. Detective tasked with retrieving a tape recording from mobster Bugs Malloy. Oh, I'm not actually Bugs Malloy, I'm trying to retrieve a tape from the gangster Bugs Malloy, so I'm a detective of some sorts. Doesn't actually say what the detective's name is. But as I said, I'm totally blown away with the isometric style games that were on the Spectrum. Really impressive. Who's this guy? Can I talk to him? Haven't we met before? Hello. Okay. I have no idea what I'm doing and where I'm going. Quite slow paced, no doubt about it. A lot of these games are quite slow paced. You're going to want to have a little bit of patience. I have no idea what happened there. I've just game overed. Yes, I have no clue. I've just been killed by a door. Okay, we're now going to play Nodes of Yesod. This is a mazy platforming style game. Find the lunar mole on the surface to chew through cavern walls. Now, control method here, you're going to have to take a note here to press the menu button if you're using the joystick to select. Otherwise, when I was playing this, the controls were all wonky, much like the game Movie. If you don't choose the right options, then you'll probably have some strange results when you're trying to control the characters. I'm not sure if this is a result of the firmware update or what, but anyway, just make sure you choose the correct options here. Basically just press the menu button and it's chosen the joystick, which is basically the gamepad. I'm getting lost already. Oh, don't fall from a great height, obviously. Oh, damn, I've done it again. What the heck are these things? Bizarre stuff. This one is definitely a weird game, and it's one I was kind of getting a bit frustrated with while playing it, and yeah, I didn't really understand what I was trying to do, where I was trying to go. The sort of jumping from platform to platform was just getting frustrating. Obviously going the wrong way, but anyway, it was definitely frustrating and annoying me a little bit, and not one I wanted to play anymore. Okay, so we're going to switch up a little bit. We've got a side-scrolling shooter called Penetrator. Sounds like another really bad porn movie. Anyway, let's move on. I don't think you can actually fast forward this for some reason. Oh, you can. Press the enter button, it will quickly start the game. So A button to fire, obviously horizontally, and you've got the B button will fire sort of bombs downward towards the surface. So you need to definitely do a mixture of both of those controls. And obviously the up button up and down to traverse through the world here. That's actually quite nice. Sounds are a bit rough though, no doubt about it, a bit rough. You may want to maybe turn down the sound a little bit when playing this one. Or maybe you love these sounds, I don't know. Not trying to insult anyone, but if you love these sounds, great stuff. Ooh. Ooh. Is it turned to night? Oh, I've went on to stage 2, that's what it is. Love the sound. Sometimes, no doubt, some of the graphics can be a little bit hard on the eyes. Oh dear. Just like my gameplay, very hard on the eyes. But this game's actually okay, it's not bad. Okay, next up we've got Phantis Game Over. Interestingly, another side-scrolling shooter game. I think there's various different sort of game stages in this and game styles. I think there is another version of this, which I'm pretty sure I played in my preview video, which was probably the wrong version. But anyway, let's have a play at this. This is Phantis Game Over 2. Going by the graphics, it feels more like a more modern style Spectrum game rather than one, a sort of an older style one. I think some of the effects are really nice in this. Oh. Again, apologies for the gameplay, I am absolutely terrible at shoot 'em up games, never been good at them. If I can recognise that this is actually pretty decent. I just wish I was better at these type of games. I always seem to get sucked towards danger and basically cause my own death rather than the enemies sort of destroy me with their firepower. Not sure what those gold things are for collecting, I guess they'll just help your score along. Ooh, things are getting a bit too scary here. Wow, I've game overed. Anyway, this ain't bad, not bad at all. I'm not a fan of shooters, but this clearly is pretty decent. Okay, sticking with shooters, funny enough, this is an arcade style shooter called Pheenix. And you're trying to destroy the mothership and all the different aliens there. And basically it's a Space Invaders clone or a Galaxian clone. That's basically all it is. But it's a pretty decent one at that. When I was playing through this, it definitely reminded me of Galaxian on the Atari 2600. So probably best to try and take out as many of these as you possibly can before they actually finish forming. Because this is obviously a lot easier. Once they start moving and firing, it becomes extremely difficult. As I said, it definitely reminded me of Galaxian. You traverse through the different sort of stages until you eventually get to the sort of mothership. I have to say, I really enjoy playing this one. I'm not really a big fan of sort of traditional style shooters, but I definitely enjoy the sort of Space Invaders style shooters rather than a traditional sort of scrolling one instead. But very good, definitely one worth playing. Right, next up we got Pyracurse. It's basically a 3D action adventure style game, and you can choose between different characters, and you're trying to find a missing archaeologist in an ancient city. Sounds really interesting. So avoid all the monsters. There are different items you can sort of pick up as well. It takes a little bit of getting used to, so it's a little bit like movie, the way you control the character. To try and avoid the different monsters. Some of them do tend to follow you through the sort of stage. Something would be nice to get a little bit of music in some of these games because the silence can be a bit weird. I guess with the memory constraints, it's just one of those things that's quite common in a lot of the 48K games. So you can switch between your different characters. If you press the A button to bring up the menu there, you can choose another character if you want. Let's try, oh, you can go the dog. Okay, you can go a dog as well. He's one of the characters. I think you can pick up chalices as well to revive any of the characters. Oh, there's one there, I believe. Just walk over it, I guess. No? Oh, damn. The dog is dead. Now we're going... She doesn't look prepared for this. Anyway, looks like Mary Poppins is coming to save the day. Oh, there's a treasure chest. Got a chalice now. I can revive one of the characters, I guess, if I walk up to them, I believe. Another sort of Wanderfest, I think, this type of game. And avoid the monsters that's just chasing me constantly. I wonder if I can actually revive one of the characters. Yeah, there's one of the characters here. Can I revive them? Let's see. I can choose. Oh. Don't know, it didn't actually work. Now I've just got the professor and that's me. Oh dear. Anyway, let's move on, guys. Right, so we have Quazatron next, which is basically the game. It's a little bit like Paradroid. See, but it's obviously the more isometric style game, which probably suited the Spectrum a lot more. Let's see, we need to choose the Kempston, then press enter to start. It's like a mix between Paradroid and Marble Madness, I think, playing the game, which means it's quite tricky to traverse. But if you've been playing some of the other games, like so we just played Pyracurse and sort of the movie game, you'll maybe get used to these sort of making your way up and down the sort of platforms here. I think you've got some firepower as well. You can change between the weapon, and you can try and take out some of these enemies. You can try and take them over as well, I believe, because I think that is ultimately what the goal is. To try and improve your droid. There we go. Now, I don't think it's anywhere near as good as Paradroid, so I'm sorry if that offends anyone. It's definitely not on that level. But as a game in its own right, it's actually not too bad. Let's see if we can actually take over one of the characters here. Oh yeah, so here we go. Try and take over. I'm on the... What side am I on? I have no idea. I'm on the left. So I need to take over, if you see a blue, try and take that over and get as many yellows on your side as you possibly can. And within the time limit. And hopefully you have more than the other side. And then you can successfully take over the other droid. I think we might be okay. Yeah. So we can take over that droid. I have no idea what I'm doing here. And as I said, not quite as good as Paradroid, but in its own right, it's not too bad a game once you get used to the isometric style of the game. Not bad at all. Right, moving on to Robin of the Wood. A sort of maze adventure game where you control Robin on a quest to retrieve the Saxon silver arrow from the evil Sheriff of Nottingham. Find keys, flowers, gold and other valuables throughout the forest. Choose the correct controls as usual. And then press 0 to start. I absolutely love it. Now it does remind you a little bit like Firelord, but it's I'd say this is definitely a better game, more enjoyable to actually play. So try to avoid all the guards, or you can press the A button to use your handy sword or something, I guess. I'll avoid that, and you will take them out. But just like Firelord, I definitely got lost a few times whilst playing this game. Oh, what the hell is that? I've no idea what that was. Yeah, just like Firelord, you definitely get lost. The map seems pretty large. No idea where I'm going. So we definitely make a mental note of where you're going. Maybe make a map, follow something online. Or just keep wandering and hope for the best without dying. Okay, we've got Saboteur Remastered. Now this is obviously, as I said, the remastered version of the game that was released a couple of years ago. I think there was added levels to the game, if I recall. maybe some changes in the graphics, not entirely sure, but basically it's a stealth action game where you control the skilled ninja on a mission to retrieve a floppy disk from a heavily guarded warehouse. I think you need to set off a bomb as well, or something like that. So you can eliminate guards for bonus points, or basically just avoid them, find the disk and exit. You've got some weapons you can use like bricks and knives, but you've only got one use out of them, and then they pretty much disappear. You can pick up more as you go. So choose, for me I'm choosing joystick or Kempston again, and start mission. Skill level, yeah. 1. Extremely easy, yeah. You see, you have got a time limit as well, which is kind of frustrating. I shouldn't have done that. That was your one of your weapons I've just pressed the A button to get rid of. But you can pick up more. You can press up on the joystick or press B to do the flying kick thing. You see, just be careful that the meter at the bottom, the red meter, doesn't disappear. That's basically your health, and that'll be game over. And you've got time. Everything is against the clock as well. So keep an eye on that and your health meter, otherwise you will be finished before you know it. So everything is against the clock. Now you can pick up some stones or rocks here. You can use that as a weapon. Again, trying to get up and down the ladder, you need to be in the right place at the right time. Oh, I think I just pressed the button at the right time there. Ooh. Choose the weapon. Yeah, so whatever I had as a weapon there, I can use that. Also, we're trying to find the disc. No idea where it actually is. Oh, what was that? Something oh, there's a knife. You see that? It just pops up randomly. I wish I knew what I was doing here, guys. I'm pretty assuming that would be the disc. But anyway, guys, if you know how to play some of these games, obviously, if you're frustrated by some of my gameplay, please let me know, and I'll try and make myself a little bit of a better game player. But I'm not entirely sure it says near, but if I can do something with these. Okay, so before I move on, I'm assuming what should happen is if you've got the time bomb, you can, obviously, somewhere on the level you find that, it can then be swapped for that floppy disk when you find that. I'm assuming that's what happens. So basically, I guess I need to find the time bomb first and swap that for the disk, and then exit that stage. I think that's what you're supposed to do. So if I'm wrong, please guys let me know. So that's obviously why I couldn't pick up the disc there. I'm assuming that's what's to happen. It's one of those games I definitely need to play a little bit more, but I enjoyed it. It is very cool. So moving on to Shovel Adventure. This is an adventure puzzle single screen style game. It's got 40 levels, and you basically need to dig up the treasure, avoid the mummies and monsters, and get to the exit. This is a sort of newer style game from, I think it was 2016 or 2017. It's definitely a few years ago now, but it's newer in respect to a lot of the other titles on here that were probably mostly made in the 80s. Reminded me a little bit like the Sydney Hunter style games. I guess that's what the graphical style is going for here. I'm assuming. But yeah, dig up the treasure. You can trap the mummy in a hole as well. Dig a hole and you can trap that. Just don't fall down the hole yourself. You can do that easily. Find all the treasure, get to the exit, move on to the next level. Don't lose too many lives. And obviously I love puzzle style games, and this is right up my street. I absolutely loved playing it. Obviously it gets a little bit harder. Get the treasure, get to the exit. Now it does get harder. You need to be a little bit more strategic when you're playing the game. I love the sound, the music is fantastic. Graphically it's very nice. Again, probably a little bit too much yellow for my liking, but still really nice. Oh, that's probably not how to play the level there. And that's a freeze time addition, which is quite handy. And you can go about the rest of the level without too much stress. Anyway guys, I think we'll move on. You get the idea. I think this game is excellent. Really, really good. 40 levels of that. Definitely one I'm going to be playing a lot more of. Right, moving on to Skool Daze. This is an arcade adventure game, and you can play as Eric, steal his report card from the school safe before he gets into trouble, and collect pieces of the safe combination from the school teachers by hitting shields. Guess the history master's edge. Use your catapult right on the backboard. Just don't get caught. Oh dear. Now, there's no doubt about it, this has been widely regarded as a Spectrum classic. I remember, obviously I'm very much aware of this game, not one I've actually played very often at all. But anyway, let's press A to play, because it's basically just playing through the demo. Now, interestingly, this is one of those games that this isn't something that happened very often. You can input your own names to the game. Rather than playing the default games like Eric, you could put in your own games. But obviously for the purpose of this, I'm not actually going to do that. But you could put your own names in there, and it might give it a whole new level and maybe make you snigger a little bit as you're getting told off by the different teachers by your own name. I'm sure that would be pretty amusing. So it's playtime. I think playing through the games, I played through it a few different times, and it seems pretty random to what the hell is going on, which is pretty fascinating to me. You've got a slingshot, you can get into trouble and take out some of the other pupils, maybe even do that against some of the teachers as well. Yeah, probably fun. Let's see, take out a few of these guys. Oh, some of them are too small to get hit. You can sit down as well, I think. You press the button there. If you're just caught sitting down, you'll get lines from the teacher, which is kind of weird. The control-wise, I got a little bit stuck sometimes. Trying to go up and down stairs was a little bit tricky. Can't go in that room just yet because you'll just get lines basically. But yeah, sometimes trying to traverse up and down stairs, I just got stuck a few times. It was definitely a little bit frustrating. You can actually write on the blackboard. What are we writing here? Can we actually type something? Oh, you can. Oh dear. What am I going to write? Oh no. Oh no. I can write on the screen. Oh no. No. Oh dear, right, okay, I'm not writing anymore. How do I stop writing? How do I start writing? Oh dear. So it was the X button to write. I can't see what button that is to actually stop writing. Sit, stand, no, menu button. So guys, if you know what button is to stop writing, please let me know. I can't actually tell which button it was, but yeah, I did write my name on the screen there, but it's just went a little bit crazy. This is obviously the teacher room. Let's see if I can take some of these out. Sit down. Oh, what a crazy game. Anyway guys, let's move on. There's a lot to this game, there's no doubt about it. I'll need to explore a little bit more, but it definitely amuses me. Okay, so let's switch up a little bit. We are going to play Snake Escape. This is another newer title from a few years ago. This is a colourful platform puzzle game. You need to guide the hungry snake through the twists and turns to reach delicious apples. 42 levels. Impressive. This one definitely is one I enjoyed playing. Try and get to that apple. Now this one's a little bit weird. So you need to basically create yourself a platform to get. If you obviously get to an opening like that, you just fall completely down. So through the level, you'll definitely have to get a little bit strategic as you're doing this. So for instance, I can't just go straight up like that because I can only go so far. So you need to basically create yourself a platform. And now I'm stuck, I can't do that. So there's only so many levels you can have. I think it's 3 or 4 levels you can go up. So you have to go in a sort of snakish form, pun intended, to reach the apple. I think it's one of those games that's actually hard to explain playing it. I think you really need to experience it for yourself to actually understand it. And it makes more sense when you're playing. Obviously I've just messed up, you cannot do it like that. But I really enjoy this game. I'm not going to play it tomorrow. You get the idea. This game is excellent and definitely another one I'm going to be playing a lot more of. Okay, next up we've got Spellbound. This is a menu driven arcade adventure game. You gain Magic Knight in a quest to rescue Gimbal and his 7 companions from the Castle of Karn. It's basically an adventure game. Choose the different options, items, type of thing. Now, I guess the best way to explain it for me would be it's like a little bit like a Dizzy style game. Obviously this came before Dizzy, so this was had the ideas before we even got Dizzy. But anyway, that's basically the best way for me to describe this to anyone. Okay guys, so this one's a little bit strange with the controls. Obviously I'm using a gamepad, so use the L1 and R1 button to scroll through the different options until you, obviously it defaults to keyboard. If you're actually using a joystick or a gamepad, you need to use the L1 and R1 buttons to choose the correct options, and I think it's press X or Y, and it'll basically confirm the control at the bottom there before you actually play the game. Obviously if you're using the keyboard, that's not a problem for you, you can basically just get stuck in. So as I said, it's a little bit like a Dizzy game. You can see the items, you can pick them up, pick up object, execute command. There's no doubt that the menu system is very, very clunky. You can press up to jump. You've got different options here to get examine, teleport, read something, cast a spell. Quite complex commands there, but basically you choose something and then execute it, and you can obviously talk to the different characters as well that you see on the screen. So let's see, examine, character, Florin. Florin is asleep, okay. We probably need to wake him up somehow. No idea what that thing is going across the screen. Now, trying to control the character and these sort of menus are a little bit, no doubt about it, definitely clunky. You can see at the top what your health meter, and obviously you can see the different items you've got there as well. You can carry 5 at the one time, and as I said, it's very much like a Dizzy game, and I've just screwed up right away here. You obviously need a torch before I can go past this section here, so keep that in mind if you are playing this game. Don't come too far left until you've got a torch. Eventually you'll have so many items you'll get confused what's what and what you're supposed to do with it, so you're probably going to have to drop a few things here and there and then experiment what gets used where. So definitely a trial and error style game. I love the music though, the setting, the graphics are really nice. Quite a lot of colour clash right enough, but that's a Spectrum trait, nothing to be worried about there. I guess after playing a lot of these games for so long, you end up actually not even seeing it, which is kind of weird. Thor wants his hammer back, so he needs to find... That's Thor. So he wants his hammer back, so I don't have that yet, need to move on. Yeah, I say it's a bit of a fetch kind of quest thing like Dizzy. Get the items, take it here, back and forth, until you finish your mission. Quite cool, and I'm enjoying playing it so far. I'm looking forward to trying it a little bit more. Just a little bit clunky with the controls and the command executions. So next we have Starquake, a colourful maze platforming style game where you control Blob on a mission to fix the planet's core and save Earth. Let's get started. Control methods here, you got some firepower, but you need to keep an eye on that because it obviously depletes as well as your energy. And you also have these platforms. If you press down on the D-pad, you've got a platform thing that you can sort of help climb up some different levels, which is weird, but that only has so much energy as well. If you run out of that, you'll obviously lose a life. This one is absolutely weird as heck. I think one of the frustrating things I found with this level is that the recurring enemies that just keep on going. It's a bit like the Firelord game where the enemies just keep on spawning in constantly, and it just frustrates the heck. It'd be nice if they were maybe less random. As far as you just cannot stop. You need to keep on moving, otherwise you're just going to lose energy constantly. But there's definitely a lot to love about this game. Graphically very nice, very colourful. Obviously got some kind of annoying sort of sound effects, but it is what it is. Oh dear, I messed that up. But yeah, don't judge me, I have no clue what I'm actually doing here. But I don't recall very many games like this at all in any system. I think this is really, really cool. I'm not sure what these platforms are. Oh, I see. Right, that's cool. Can help me maybe get to the top easier rather than building the platform thing. Oh yeah, fascinating. Ah no, run out of energy again. Anyway, interesting game. Certainly one worth having a quick go of, but weird, absolutely. So next we have Starstrike II. This is a 3D space shooter. Engage 22 planets to accomplish your goal. Eliminate ships to recover fuel. Reach the planet's surface. Destroy a planet's defense grid by hitting the spinning squares. Now graphically, this one looks very much unlike a lot of the games we've played so far. And sadly, I think there's not an awful lot of sound in this game either. I think definitely missing some kind of ambience or some kind of a sound effects, because it's almost completely silent. Maybe create your own ambience in the background. Don't ask what I'm doing, I don't know. Right, so we need to collect these spinny square things and obviously use your firepower to take out the other, so it looks like stars, I think. I think this is what you're supposed to do, so correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I believe that's what we need to do. Oh. Just use the D-pad, or I guess this is one of those games that might be more beneficial actually playing with a joystick rather than a D-pad. I think definitely there's a lot of games here that are fine on keyboard, fine on D-pad, but you get a few games here and there that you think would definitely benefit by playing some kind of joystick. Let's hope, fingers crossed, that retro games bring their own joystick out at some point, because it would definitely make these games, some of these games, a lot easier to play. Anyway guys, let's move on. Okay, so we're changing it up a little bit and we are going to be playing Stonkers. This is basically a strategy war game, and this one definitely takes a little bit of getting used to and understanding what you're supposed to do. I think the first few times I played this, I really didn't have a clue what was going on at all. Press any key when your choice appears below. Oh jeez, I need to wait for the right I need to wait for the right control to appear on the screen before pressing a button. How bizarre. This makes no sense, does it? And here we go. Oh, obviously easy. Right, so we've got a grid here, so you need to basically get your army into position. So if you highlight that area, you can choose one of your artillery and then move it into position. And same to go with, I guess this is a tank of some sorts. As I said, it's a strategy game, so you're going to get attacked from different enemies. You can see that the blue enemy on the other side, they'll eventually attack, and you basically just need to defend. So one of those games that you definitely need a little bit of patience for. Let's see if we got some enemies. So if we sort of choose anywhere off this grid, you can see there'll be other enemies located in some of these vicinities somewhere. So just hover over the different areas to try and find some of the enemies and where they actually are, and then be prepared. Oh, see, there's one here. So there's a ship here. I'm assuming, is that one of my ships perhaps? Or is that an enemy ship? Not entirely sure. Maybe the enemy ships are over here. See, there's a little dot. Looks like a mark on the screen. Yeah, so this is obviously an enemy ship approaching here, so we obviously need to defend against these guys here. So I think they're on a head-on collision at some point down here, but I'm not sure where the other enemies actually are. Maybe they are located down here. Maybe wrong. Yeah, so here's all the enemies down here that we need to slowly make our way to try and destroy. Oh, and I think something's going to happen round about here somewhere. Let's see. Oh, they've gone off the grid a little bit. Anyway guys, you get the idea. It's a little bit of a slow burner, this one. You're going to have a little bit of patience. If you like your strategy games, I'm sure this will be alright. Not really into them at all, because I don't really have an awful lot of patience these days, but hopefully that will help you understand how to actually play this game properly. Okay guys, next up we're going to play Target Renegade. This is widely regarded as one of the best beat-em-ups on Spectrum, and quite rightly so. Controls are very simple. You've basically got your A button to punch, kick, push up and A at the same time. There's a whole lot of different combinations that you can use with the different buttons on the D-pad and the action button. So experiment a little bit and refer to the manual that is included online, or if you're lucky enough you maybe get one off of Amazon and you can look at that in depth, or you can maybe find the original manual for the Spectrum game and use that instead. You also get some weapons throughout the game you can use. No doubt this is really cool. Maybe is this one of the best beat 'em ups on Spectrum? No doubt a really cool game, and one I'm going to be looking forward to playing a lot more as well. Quite tricky right enough. Make sure you don't get those enemies either side of you, because that's when it starts to get really tough. Just keep on moving. And eventually we got the hammer. So eventually I found Thor's hammer. I need to go back to Spellbound and give it to him. Yeah, very droll. Right guys, we're moving on to TCQ. This is a modern platform puzzle. Move a shape through a vibrant world inspired by the work of Piet Mondrian. I probably pronounced that completely wrong. So walk over floating shapes to morph into them. Shoot incoming threats as a triangle. This one is fascinating. I absolutely loved this one. First time I played it, I really wasn't entirely sure what was going on. It was a bit confusing. Quite colourful, no doubt about it. Very eye-catching. But wonderfully done. Really wonderful. Press the A button to jump. When you're the circle, when you're the triangle, it's a little bit different. So I think I need to come back to this one. So when you're the triangle, you press the A button. You've got some firepower, which is effective to destroy some sort of blocks that are getting in your way. But I think this is terrific, this game. I think it's really well designed. Fantastic idea. Very simple, really, how it actually works. Lovely colourful graphics. Sort of nice music as well. Quite relaxing to play. Guess if you don't like platformers or even sort of puzzle style games, then you might not really understand or like this at all, but personally I thought this game was terrific. I think this is a newer style game. I might be wrong. I'm not sure it's one that was made years ago. I might be wrong. I might have that completely wrong. I'm pretty sure this is a newer game from a few years ago. I think seeing all these different colours on the Spectrum is absolutely fascinating. I think it looks terrific. Maybe you could argue that it necessarily doesn't look like a Spectrum game with all those different colours, but I think it's very impressive. The idea behind the game is really cool, very different to anything else you'll probably play, especially on this Spectrum. Oh dear. But yeah, I absolutely love this game. I think it's very, very cool, and it's definitely one that will be on my list to play through to completion. Unless I get stuck, that is. Okay guys, so we're moving on to Technician Ted. I guess we don't have Jet Set Willie. This is probably the next best thing, probably. It's very similar to that game. This is the Megamix. I'm not sure what that refers to and what exactly that means. Anyway, this is a challenging platformer. You're basically helping computer hacker Ted complete all his daily tasks in the microprocessor factory. Complete all 30 tasks. Enter to start. Now, I believe the idea behind the game, so don't touch anything. Basically, don't touch any of the characters or any of the items, you will die. So if you touch the task 1, it then flashes something on that screen, and you need to then get to that section, touch it, and that's that task complete, and then you move on to the next task. A lot of these tasks are time sensitive, meaning you need to get to them before they stop flashing. If that stops flashing, then that task is obviously failed. You need to start all over again. So let's see if I can actually complete this task. Jump up. Not touch any of the spiders or the objects. Let's see if we can do at least one task. There you go, task completed 1. So you get the idea. So we're now looking for task number 2 without touching any of the other objects or things that you see on the screen. Oops. I think, oh, took a little bit of fall damage there, but I guess that's okay. Personally, this is not really my type of game. I think I'd find it just a little bit too frustrating to be enjoyable. And the colour clashing here is definitely quite sore on the eyes. Where is the character? Could have a spot the character competition. Got no clue. Right, moving on to Tenebra. This is a newer style game, and I've seen this on so many other platforms recently. It's basically been released on everything, and they all look exactly the same. And basically you are trying to get to the exit. Obviously the first level is just laughably easy, but you can pick up torches to help you reach that exit, and obviously it will light the way for you, meaning you have to be strategic to be able to reach some of the levels, and some of the levels get really, really tough. And I basically just went round in circles there. Like, some of the levels have multiple torches where you maybe have to leave them down. You can't hold a torch while going through a door, type of thing. But yeah, very cool. I love the idea of this game. It's a very puzzle sort of orientated, and this is one of the levels we have to be a little bit more strategic. So I'll leave the torch outside, then go through the door, and then make it up here. Some of the graphics are a little bit harder to see. You can see something that is quite hard to pick up, the actual torches. You can barely see them. Ah, that's better. Just needs to be placed on the right spot to be able to complete it. Anyway guys, let's move on. I think this game is really, really cool. Excellent stuff. So moving on to Trashman. Basically you're taking the bins out. I think you've got so many bins to empty each day. You've obviously against the time limit. Don't step on the grass. You can get some extra tips by visiting the customers inside for some refreshments, with inverted commas I say. So let's get started. You can even enter your own name. Oh, and you can't even do it with the keyboard. How crazy is that? So you need to use the D-pad to enter your name. How insane. Press the A button to confirm. Nope. You get 5 bins to collect, and here we go. So basically you see the bin, the white bin is located somewhere on the premises. Press the A button to pick it, or just walk over it and pick it up. Then walk slowly. You will walk slower because you've got the bin, and then empty it into the trash like that. Then walk back and place it back down. Oh, don't step on the grass, you will lose points, and that's it. Then you can move on to the next bin, the next house, sorry. Collect the bin. Now you're obviously got a time limit as well. If you take too long, you'll basically get fired. It'd be nice if the truck moved up a little bit, but never mind. Oh, I'm running out of time. You can see the bonus is running out, so I'm taking far too long to actually complete this level. You can see there's actually trash cans on the other side of the road, so I really need to go over the other side of the road as well, which is probably why I'm going to fail this particular one. Oh, we've had complaints, I'm too slow. So obviously I need to remember the ones on the other side of the road as well. But anyway, I've been fired, I better move on. Right, we've got a little bit of a change up. We've got a fighting game, martial arts fighting game. It's a little bit like IK+, The Way of the Exploding Fist. Combines 16 different combat moves to outsmart your foe. So I think holding down the fire button is probably the way to go here. Oh, damn. You need to be in the right spot at the right time to actually connect. So hold down, rather than just pressing the fire button randomly, hold down the fire button to do your moves, and then press a direction on the D-pad, and that will obviously get your moves. So just pressing the button probably isn't the way to do it. Just hold the button down, choose a direction, and we are the champion. Okay, so moving on to the second last game, you'll be glad to hear if you've kept up watching all the way through. Thanks very much. We're moving on to Wheelie. This is a nice change of pace, so to speak. So it's a little bit complicated to get started here. So if you want to use the joystick, you need to press a button or a key on the third row of the sort of keyboard, and then you need to press it in the second row if you want to choose the joystick interface. Very confusing. Now choose the spacebar, I guess, to play. Now I have to say, I obviously struggled to play this game on emulation because it really was a nightmare to control, but playing it on here, I am absolutely hooked. I couldn't believe how good this game was. I remember, I think, some viewers saying, oh, this is a great game, blah blah blah, and I'm like, okay. But now I see it, I absolutely see it. I think it's absolutely brilliant. It really is impressive and very, very addictive. Ooh, I don't think there was any way of avoiding that. Something, don't go too fast. There is ice. You need to make sure you're going at a little bit of a slower pace when you're going there. But yeah, what a cool game this is. Sound effects are definitely a little bit rough, graphically quite rough, but it's all about that gameplay, which I was totally hooked and addicted playing this last night. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it did take me by surprise. I might even consider this as one of my most favourite games on the Spectrum. I couldn't believe it. Really, really impressive. Oh. I can see why people would love playing this back in the day and get totally, totally hooked. Okay guys, so this is the last game, Where Time Stood Still, another isometric adventure style game, and you're controlling Captain Jarrett as well as other survivors of a plane crash on a journey through the dangerous Himalayan peaks, which somehow seems to have a lot of dinosaurs there, so let's get stuck in. Yes, why would I be pressing these buttons otherwise? Right, so this one, the controls were a little bit strange. I couldn't get my head around how to control the characters. It was definitely messing with my head a little bit, and I kind of got the feeling this one would be better with a joystick rather than trying to utilise a D-pad controlling these characters. You've got, obviously you've got 4 characters. You can switch between them. I think if you press the action button, oh, I've got some kind of laser thing happening there. Did you see that? Don't know what that is, but yeah, you've got a weapon. If you press the B button, you can switch between the characters. You can use this to pick up items as well and swap items too. But yeah, that is really fascinating, isn't it? So we're obviously trying to escape this crazy world, whatever it is, and I'm not even sure what some of these items are that you can see there. There's something we can pick up. Let's see if we can pick this item up. Give it to someone. Thanks, just like that. It's a little bit, yeah, that's it, we've got it. So then we can escape that and go on our merry way, whatever the heck we picked up, I don't know. Love the music in this. Obviously this is a 128K version. Graphically it looks nice, sounds great with the music here playing on, very atmospheric. And it's fascinating, absolutely fascinating. I think for sure this is another game that I think would be better playing with a joystick. Trying to manoeuvre through the sort of landscapes here with a joystick or a D-pad is pretty horrible, to be honest. Okay guys, so that's all 48 games played on the Spectrum. A very nice mix of games. For sure some of them are a little bit dated, but there's a lot of games I really enjoy playing. There's a lot of games I'm looking forward to exploring a lot more and understanding a lot more, like The Hobbit, Lords of Midnight, even Where Time Stood Still. And there was some games that took me by massive surprise, like Wheelie. I was absolutely hooked and couldn't believe how good it was, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. But yeah, it's a nice collection of games. Some of them have dated badly, there's no doubt about it. But anyway, let me know, what are your favourite games from the 48 that's included with the Spectrum? And if you've got any game tips for me, please drop them into the comments as well. Thanks very much for watching. Catch you again in the next one. Bye for now.